Hello, everybody. It's Sunil Tulsiani, founder of Private Investment Club. I have yet another wonderful guest today for us in the times of we're all dealing with coronavirus and the stuff that's going on. And his name is Ahmed Ali. And Ahmed has become a good friend of mine. Not only is he part of my mentoring program, but he's an amazing person, a good friend, a coach, a real estate investor, mentor, somebody you really need to get to know. Ahmed, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sunil. It's really a great pleasure to be here with you and with your audience.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I mean, I think we know each other. If I think back to middle of 2018 when we first met at the World Forum Summit in Toronto. And ever since then, you've been my mentor.
Yes.
And we've shared stages with Jack Canfield, with Kevin Harrington, as well as with Robert G. Allen in Dallas. That was a fantastic event, right? And I have a big thank you for you, not only for the mentoring side of things, but also for the network of people and the great friends that I met through your connections, through the Private Investment Club. So I raise my hat to you, and I'm really appreciative of that.
That's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose of Private Investment Club, is actually to introduce people to other great people, because we're, I mean, look what's going on right now with coronavirus. So we're the reverse side of that, meaning you get there and all of a sudden you feel like, whoa, these are the people I've been looking for. And these are the people I want to network and become friends with to do that stuff. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ahmed.
Sure. So I'm a life and business coach. I'm the founder of Success Actualization Coaching, based here in Ottawa, but I do business almost internationally. My focus is on breakthrough performance, specifically the individual performance, and also on an individual level, and also within a team as within an organization. My coaching methodologies and practices are all based on heart-centered style coaching, helping people to really build a life and achieve goals based on what they want and what they really love to achieve. And organizations get very clear on their goals and strategies.
That's awesome. We'll get to we'll get into that a little bit later on, and how people can get hold of you. Right now, let's just talk about coronavirus. Tell us your take on coronavirus. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So, listen. The other day I was on another webinar and I was saying there are two things, actually three things, that are really jarring about the coronavirus situation. Is that number one is the magnitude, the impact of it, and the magnitude of number of people that are being affected in the countries is unprecedented, never been seen before.
Right.
The other thing is the speed at which this thing is spreading and affecting people in countries all over the world. Again, within where we started hearing of it towards end of January, now we're not even finished with March, and we're almost in lockdown and shutdown. The other thing is the impact to everywhere, all aspects of life. Basically, we're all, on hold, all businesses on hold. This has a very determined effect on the economy, on the income of people, their revenue, the businesses, etc. So this is something that you cannot deny, and you cannot treat it casually. However, let's keep things in perspective. This is a temporary situation. This is not a doomsday scenario. This is not a situation that we don't know how to handle. I mean, if we are listening intently to what the news is conveying, is that follow the instructions of keeping social distances, stay at home as much as you can, and actually as much as you can for all the time until this virus dies itself out. That's the best way. So it's not like we're dealing with a situation that we don't know how to get out of it. It's just that it requires commitment from us.
Yes. Okay, awesome. So in regards to business, what are you doing differently than what you were doing before, if anything?
So, like we were talking before we started the interview, this is a period of reflection. Sometimes things happen in life. I mean, it doesn't even need to be a pandemic. You could end up like what happened with me in 2016. I broke my leg in a skiing accident. That forced me to take some time off. This is a period where life is giving you an amount of time to reflect on personal level and on a business level. Okay, so let's make use of it. What I'm doing, for example, is number one, on a personal level, I'm doing a mind and space audit. Is I'm auditing the space that I have, where I do my work, where I do my business, where I do all my activities. Is it conducive to me being productive as an individual? Number one. The other thing is, on a business level, I'm reflecting back on what I've been doing so far, what has worked, and what needs to be improved, you know, all with the view of progressiveness and actually improvement, not with the view of self-criticism and saying, oh, this didn't work and getting negative on myself. I'm looking at situation and thinking from a service-based position, how can I serve my clients or future clients more? What kind of services and products I can bring to them that will give them value, added value, and generate income and business for myself. So you have to realize that every situation and every challenge brings an opportunity with it. One of the things that happened and everybody became so aware of is that people's ability to work remotely. Now, so many companies told their employees to work remotely as the ones who can, and they're working maybe as efficiently, provided that the young kids are not cutting in, you know, or walking in the back while they're having a video conference. But what that does is that we were introduced to a paradigm or a level of ability to provide service or to do our work, whether it's full-time, part-time, entrepreneur, that we weren't really paying much attention to it in the past.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. If you ever saw it on the news, there was the mention of the satellite images over China and over Italy and how the pollution has actually reduced dramatically within the 3-4 weeks periods that these countries were in shutdown. And this happened because nobody was doing any activity, any producing of any CO2 or CO emissions. I bet you, moving forward out of this, there will be governments and municipalities, etc., who will mandate some kind of 1 day per week work from home, or enabling their companies to help their employees to actually work from home, etc., whatever, or businesses even. The reason I'm mentioning that, because this is one of the things that will introduce a reduction of, let's say, carbon monoxide in pollution beyond any carbon tax that can be introduced, etc. Right. Now you might say, why am I mentioning this? The reason I'm mentioning it, because this is a change in the dynamics on the way businesses will be conducted. So me, as a business owner and somebody who provides services in the field of speaking or in the field of coaching, then I start evaluating what needs are there in the market, what needs will come up, and how I can serve it. Does that translate to massive presence online and even better method of delivery of products online? Absolutely. What kind of methods or what kind of products that I'm delivering online? That is something that you get from this period of reflection.
All right. So you talked about the how-to. Let's talk about that. So I'm a coach, mentor, speaker, consultant, a service provider, or I help people some way. Even I'm talking about even services like accountants and people. Basically, I see people provide services and I get compensated. I used to go see people face to face, and before this, and now we're in this situation where people are not meeting each other. We're basically not in lockdown, but we're basically told to stay home, and most people are staying home. How are you monetizing? How do people monetize if they're in that situation in the next a month, 2 months, 3 months, depending upon how long this goes, 6 months? What do you think?
Absolutely. So every business is a case by itself, and you have to take it one by one. But I think, and something that actually one person did 2 days ago, which I really like what he did, a real estate agent that I met at an event at the Jack Canfield event in Ottawa, actually back in November.
Oh, okay.
And he just picked up the phone and he started chatting and telling me about the market situation and areas and things. And what he did, he connected. He connected with me. Okay. Even though there wasn't any business coming out of it, but I have him on my mind. This is exactly the same approach that I'm following. Is I'm reaching out to my clients, reaching out to the people, my contacts, and starting a conversation and putting out the message there is, what's important for you now? What are you looking for? How can I help you? Or do you know someone who might be benefiting from the services that I do? What you're doing is you're there on people's radar screen. You're putting the seed for them to remember you and refer to you whenever the occasion comes. Maybe it doesn't come immediately, but it will definitely come later on. The other thing is, be absolutely connected to your network of contacts and people within the business and within the industry, and also stay connected with your mentors.
How do you do that?
Absolutely. I mean, you need to always be in some form of mentorship.
Yes.
Okay. Listen, Sunil, I think we both know it very well. This is the time for leadership.
Yes.
And leadership, it could be people like yourself, people like myself who are leading other people and organizations to do things, but also there is the self-leadership.
Yes.
Is what do we do in time of challenge and crisis? How are we going to conduct our actions to come out not only surviving but actually thriving?
Yes.
Out of it.
Okay. All right. So I am, I'm in business, and the idea is to connect with my Rolodex, people that I already know, and connect with them, build a relationship with them, ask them what they need and how you can help them. How do you connect? How do you plan? Let's say this goes for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, not at the same level, but impact from the business. How do you connect with new people?
There are so many ways. Like Facebook, for example, LinkedIn, webinars that you can distribute to your contacts and ask them to forward to other people who they might be interested. Okay. So many ways. Targeted ads. Facebook has such a powerful way of enabling you to target certain areas, certain demographics, certain type of income, etc., and tailor your ads to these segments. So there is absolutely no excuse for why people cannot reach new people. Right?
So if I'm a public speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, I'm a person that puts up small events, big events. I train people on something. Yeah. And I used to do it a live event. I still want to do it, but in this situation, what are a few things that they should be doing?
Sure. So as a rule, nothing replaces the person-to-person connection and meeting face-to-face, because you're connecting with people on an energetic level. That's for sure. But what's the next best thing? The next best thing is that, like what we're doing now, we have a video connection. We see each other, hopefully with a good background. But this is a way that became the de facto way of communicating with people. FaceTime. Everybody has a FaceTime or some kind of video communication on their phones.
Yes.
So there is the methods are there. The issue is having the will and where that will is coming from. If I wake up in the morning and I think to myself, how can I serve my clients?
Yes.
How can I serve the people out there? What can I do today to add value to the people and make them feel at least one thing? If I give them one tip that makes their day much better, then I had achieved a goal today. and I did progress.
Yeah, and your point right now, look what we're doing. We're taking our time. We're adding value to people, saying yes, there's a fear, there's a lot of stuff happening, but stay safe. But there are these are the things you can do in your life and in your business, right? This is what we're doing right now, adding value to thousands of people who are going to watch this and get added value. And some of those people might say, okay, I love what he said. Let me get hold of Ahmed and see what if he can help me with my life, my business, and things like that. So let me ask you this: impact on markets, businesses, long term, short term, midterm. So 3 months, 6 months, more than a year. What do you think is going to be the impact in current situation?
The impact is big and it's undeniable. I mean, all businesses are being affected across the board. I think we won't be getting out of this impact until maybe by the end of the year that we would recover. I'm not a financial analyst, but this is my feel of it. Regardless, this should not change how we respond to it.
Right.
Okay. There are facts and there's the truth. The facts is person A is affected, person B is affected, my investments went down, this product is now maybe not successful anymore, etc. But the truth is, humanity will always prevail and we will always bounce back. Okay, we've been through so many wars. All of us, especially in Canada or all over the world, came from countries where we've seen wars in different scales and situations.
Yes.
And seen so many economic, like depression, etc., recession, 2008, etc. We will always bounce back. The question is how you want to come out of it.
Right. Okay. So if somebody's sitting there thinking, are we going to go through recession again? Versus it's going to be all good. Would their reaction to those two different extremes be the same or different?
Well, let's face it, we are definitely going through a recession. Okay. How long it's going to last, that's to be seen. The question is, do I conduct my business and my actions in a reactive way to what's happening, or I'm responding? This is a situation that is happening. I have the time now to think, how would I conduct my business in a year from now and go about doing it? Okay. Because reality is a lot of the facts and the situation hasn't changed. Like it's people's income, got affected, businesses stopped. But when things are going to bounce back, you will need to be there and ready to deliver your services and products and engage people.
What should people do right now when they're sitting right now in regards to their life? Or, what are a few things that you're doing right now?
So one of the things that one should do, and I always say that not to be overwhelmed, is to break it down. You break it down, because when we say recession, when we say stagnation, there's a big cloud hanging over us. While in fact, if you break it down and understand fully, let's say on a personal level, financial level, what are my finances currently? What's my capabilities? What's my landing strip for my business, for my personal expenses, etc.? Where I stand, having very clear view of what I have now, okay? And then identifying where the areas of improvement that needs to happen. And the same thing goes for the business, is where the areas of improvement that needs to happen, what style of conducting business that I was doing so far that worked in the previous situation before the lockdown, before the social distancing. And now I have to deal with things in a different way. And I focus on these and start planning and putting action steps and move on these action steps. Not just have them in, like what Brian Tracy says, in Someday Island. Mm-hmm. Actually action them and move on them. What this does, you'll see that when you're busy and when you're busy doing productive things, you will have no time to be affected by the situation. you will have no time waiting for the situation to resolve itself, because you're focused on doing your thing. Yes, stay connected in terms of the rules and regulations. Be very safe. Practice your part, because we will only get out of this if we all do our parts. But let me be very clear. We have a golden opportunity to bounce back, and not actually bounce back, but be very thriving coming out of this.
Okay, and I know that you're also a real estate investor, and
Yep.
I own the largest elite real estate club called Private Investment Club out of Toronto, and you're in Ottawa.
Yep.
And the big question that I keep getting is, what do I do with real estate? Should we buy now? Should we hold off? Is the market going to crash? Is it going to go up? What do you think? I know nobody has a crystal ball.
Absolutely, absolutely. By the way, I met wonderful friends through the Private Investment Club, and I hold them dearly close to my heart. Listen, the changing dynamics, I think when you talk about, let's say, for example, parking, office spaces and big office buildings, etc., maybe the future will actually start affecting their values, because now with the ability to work remotely, companies might start revising their needs for such large spaces to house people. Okay. The same thing with businesses, like private business owners. You start thinking, well, if I was able to actually maintain my business and deliver it remotely, do I need all the spaces that I hold on to now? The other thing is, other businesses will start evaluating how they deliver services. For example, like the food service now, we know there is the food delivery in all different shapes and forms. But even you hear of companies that are doing vehicle and servicing or delivery remotely. The client stays there, they actually come out to them, etc. Now, this is on a business parks and office spaces. When it comes to residential, and this is where I'm mostly experienced in, and my investments are in, I don't think things will change dramatically, in the sense that people will always need places to live in and feel secure.
Okay.
Where the activity might change, and this is to be seen, is people's ability to buy. Okay. Is it changing from a seller's market to a buyer's market, or vice versa? That's to be seen. But I can tell you from the contacts that I've had over the last week, 10 days, activity in the market, especially the residential market, is still ongoing. And properties are selling in the 30, 40, or 50,000 above asking price.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's good news for real estate investors. And as some of you have seen this, that I wrote a book called Secret to Real Estate Wealth. And I talk about the fundamentals of when you're evaluating, let's say, a real estate market. There are fundamentals that you have. You can actually get this book, and this one, though I talk about that, it became a #1 best-selling book. And if you need and want a copy of this, I'll be able to give some of these copies to some of you. And what Ahmed is talking about is, there are times when real estate might go down or up and all that kind of stuff. But according to him, people need to live and somewhere, and therefore market hasn't changed yet. So, but if you want to plan in the next few months and figure out the fundamentals, you can actually study these things. And like I said, I put that in that book to get that for you. Now, in regards to, is there anything you're doing for yourself personally during these times? I mean, you and I talked about it just before the interview, as how this is a great time to reset. I mean, I personally had a way different agenda for the last couple of weeks than what it is right now. To basically now everybody's gone home, and all that kind of stuff. So there are things that I'm doing that I'm going to share, but I want to hear from you. What are some of the things that you're doing for you?
Absolutely. So one of the concepts that I teach my clients is consistency. You can only achieve progress and achieve the momentum through consistency. So while we were, before this COVID-19 thing came out and life was going as it is, and we had a system, suddenly everything was like the carpet pulled from under your legs, and now you have to come up with a new system. I decided to maintain my daily routine. So yes, I'm working from home now, but I still wake up anytime between 4:30 and 5 in the morning.
Wonderful.
I'm up, I'm shaving. You know, we are members of the 5 a.m. club. Okay. Yes. So I wake up at the same time. I have the same practice. I'm in front of my machine at 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm still keeping my exercise. I'm actually using my daughter's expertise as a rugby player to run me through exercises that she uses, and we're doing it at home, because one of the things that really can affect you is this sitting at home where the lines get blended, between being active and doing work and eating and relaxing and napping and all these other things. So you need to be very clear. And the other thing I do is right at the morning, actually from the night time, what I do is I lay out a schedule for the next day.
Wonderful.
And I break down my day into 30 minutes segments, because that way I can have control over what I'm doing. And
yes.
when I wake up in the morning, this is my rail, this is my route. If anything comes, I know what to get back on to and stay on it. However, if you don't do that, when you wake up in the morning, you're a victim to whatever thoughts, concerns, or emails that come your way, bad news, etc., and it just throw you in disarray. And like one motivational speaker said, it's your way of seizing the day rather than letting the day seize you. Wonderful. So definitely practice and consistency and scheduling.
Well, you know, what Ahmed is talking about, he briefly mentioned the 5 a.m. And this book is called Secret to Wealth with my good friend Brian Tracy. And in volume 2, in this one, I talk about the 5 a.m. club, the rituals that you should be doing at night and during the daytime. And what's happening right now with me is actually, I'm actually doing more of these rituals because now you have more time. So looking after yourself, spending time with yourself, doing the affirmations, for example. I have a ritual about writing in your notebook about things that you're grateful for, and how do you strategize some of these things. If you don't have this book, you'll be able to get it. It's called Secret to Wealth Volume 2 with Brian Tracy. And I would take it a little further. What Ahmed is saying is that if you can actually look into you, because you are the most important person on the planet for you, and therefore spending time with you now is a lot easier because you're here anyways. So think about things that you always wanted to do. Like I have some projects that I love to do, but I was always busy, like writing a book, for example. And I spend time on that. Thinking about how to serve my clients better, my PIC members, Private Investment Club members better. This is the time for me to think. Brian Tracy talks about the biggest thing that we can do in business is to think. And thinking is what we cannot outsource. It's something that, yes, you can talk to your mentor, you can work together, but at the end of the day, thinking has to be very important. Now we have time to think. We have time itself to do that kind of stuff. Is there anything else you want to add, Ahmed, before we finish off?
One more thing I want to add is take this opportunity and this time to expand your network.
Okay.
Like it's always been said, your network is your net worth.
Yes.
Okay. Get to meet new people.
Give me one way to do that, please. How to do one?
Look up events. Look up events on Facebook, okay, or on Eventbrite. There are a lot of things that are being organized online that you can expand your network, and not only seeing people and chatting with them, but actually listening to new people on YouTube, on Facebook, listening to presentations, listening to webinars, something like this one, something that expands your horizon and takes you into a new area. Because you never know.
Connect with them, right? Yeah. And connect with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Connecting is very important because learning is good. Like doing this, like if you feel that, you know what, I want to grow my business, or I want to be in real estate, or I want to write a book or something like that, get hold of Ahmed, get hold of myself, get hold of us to be able to help you to do that stuff. Ahmed, how can people get hold of you?
Absolutely. So they can reach me on my email. It's Ahmed, Ahmed, at successactualization.com.
Say one more time.
One more time. It's Ahmed, Ahmed, at successactualization.com, or just the website, successactualization.com.
Sounds good. Well, this was an amazing another yet interview by my good friend Ahmed Ali. And guys, if you are thinking about life coaching, business coaching, Ahmed is one of the best. You need to get hold of him. He's in Ottawa, but anywhere in the world, he'll be able to help you to go to the next level. And as far as Private Investment Club, we have a goal of making 100 millionaires and multimillionaires, and we're making them right now. And I want to give everybody who's listening to this, I want to give them a gift. And a gift is an audiobook from my good friend, Brian Tracy, who I wrote the book with him. It's called Secret to Wealth, Volume 2. And the gift is an audiobook called Make a Million, Make a Million. Go to makeamillion.net, makeamillion.net, and get that audiobook absolutely free. The reason I'm doing all these kind of things and interviews with experts and all that stuff is during these times we need people to say, yes, things are going on. Yes, you have to be careful, but there are ways for you to grow right now. There are things you can do right now that's going to make you lots of money. It's going to help you grow and help you with your business. And these kind of tools that we're giving away, to get hold of Ahmed or to get the makeamillion.net or the book that I talked about for real estate. If your goal is to become financially free, wealthy, get that audiobook, makeamillion.net. And of course, you can get hold of my office at privateinvestmentclub.com. If you need something, you say, you know what, I heard Ahmed, I heard Sunil, I'd like to get hold of them. Get hold of us. Send us an email. Even if you just like it and you were just appreciative of it, just let us know, because right now we have this time and my goal is to actually give to the world. And that's why I've been interviewing various different experts with the intent of just giving and to growing. Because at the end of the day, like Ahmed said, as people need leaders, and we need leaders right now more than ever to be able to say, yes, things are not the best right now, but I can tell you one thing, that more wealthy, more multimillionaires, more millionaires have come out of challenges of bad markets or slow market or recession than ever. And there are more people who are going to lose money, no questions about that. And there are going to be some people who are going to make lots of money by serving lots of people. You just have to figure out which group you want to join. And my suggestion to you is join the group and start thinking a little differently, just like Ahmed said, because there are opportunities right now for you to grow. We can sit at home and complain, or we can be grateful for what we already have. And I really hope that you choose to be grateful. Ahmed, thank you for being here, my friend. I appreciate you, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much, Sunil. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.